Poisoned we have been. We, the people of the United States, have been poisoned. This is the opinion of J. McDewan. Here's a preview of what will be in this presentation. Avoid poisons. Avoid eating high fructose corn syrup. Avoid seed oils. Strive to buy organic, sustainably raised foods. Avoid using or ingesting glyphosate, which is Roundup. Maximize pastured eggs, grass-fed, grass-finished meats, and eat wild seafood whenever possible. Inform yourself, ingest healthy foods, and divest your holdings if you own any of the companies that produce poison.
One's gonna be close. Torpedo, get ahead!
You arrogant ass. You've killed us.
Okay, starting with fructose, high fructose corn syrup. Half of table sugar is fructose. High fructose corn syrup has even more. It must be processed by your liver just like alcohol. The use of liquid fructose can result in cirrhosis and fatty liver conditions, just like being an alcoholic. In contrast, whole real fruit contains its fructose balanced by fiber, vitamins, and polyphenols. So avoid fructose in sodas and processed foods. Seed oils are in most processed food. Napoleon III needed a cheaper butter for common citizens, so margarine was invented in 1869. In 1911, Procter & Gamble hydrogenated cottonseed oil into a product called Crisco, which was a thickened cooking fat, or shortening. Today's hydrogenated seed oils all follow the Crisco process by filtering, deodorizing, thickening, and preserving the oils in huge factories, and then selling them to you. Seed oil fats contain high amounts of omega-6, linoleic acid, which undermines our metabolism. Avoid seed oils in salad dressings, processed foods, and fast food French fries whenever possible. Instead, use olive oil, butter, coconut oil, or beef tallow. Glyphosate residues can now be found in our body organs and brains, our food, especially wheat, corn, and other GMO crops, and our water and soils in the Mississippi River Valley, upstream rivers, and ending in the Gulf of Mexico outfall and wetlands. Glyphosate and wheat damage your digestive system. There is an epidemic of leaky gut and gluten sensitivity in the United States. Anything that increases intestinal wall permeability burdens your immune system. Glyphosate, wheat gluten, and wheat agglutinin, lectins, and antibiotics all weaken the intestinal wall. Your digestive system relies on friendly bacteria and other organisms for your health. Anything with an antibiotic effect in your intestine can damage your bacterial balance. Protecting your intestinal health also protects your overall health. So feedlot cattle, hogs, and chickens dominate the restaurant and grocery food that we are fed. Feeding cattle corn and soy to fatten them up weakens them so much they need antibiotics, and those antibiotics are then present in the resulting meat that we eat. Chickens in tight pens suffer even worse conditions. We won't go into that. Pending further research, eating stressed out animals seems like a bad idea to me. Our grandparents ate grass-fed, grass-finished beef and chickens that got outside. A few generations back, humans were healthier from their food, but of course their poverty, environment, and lack of sanitation ultimately shortened their lives. So the point is, strive to buy grass-fed, pasture-raised, zero antibiotic meats or wild seafood. Weakened crops from dead dirt, most soils cannot connect. Weak soils from dead dirt, most soils cannot grow food. Overplowing and failure to rotate crops are creating a replay of the 1930s Dust Bowl days. Depleted soil yields crops that lack historic levels of nutrients and minerals. Heavy fertilization is now needed for most crops, especially wheat and corn. Breeding of crops is too focused on crop hardiness, drought resistance, and of course sweet taste. So strive to buy organic, sustainably raised crops. Buy veggies from local farmers that meet those criteria. Corporate lies and regulatory corruption got us here. So glyphosate is now the most used pesticide on agricultural crops in the United States. Glyphosate popularity comes in part from the fact it is effective and relatively cheap. By the way, low-cost versions from China and other countries with relatively lax environmental and health regulations have flooded our market as the glyphosate patents expired in the 1990s, making it even cheaper for our farmers. This explains why its use has increased so dramatically in the past 2 decades. Glyphosate has been or will soon be banned in at least 10 countries, including Mexico, Germany, Saudi Arabia, and Vietnam. And at least 15 other countries have restricted its use, according to Human Rights Watch. And by the way, in 2015, Russian President Vladimir Putin told the Russian parliament that Russia should become the world's largest supplier of organic foods. And in 2016, Russia's State Duma adopted a total ban on the cultivation and breeding in Russia of genetically modified organisms, plants and animals, except, of course, for scientific research purposes. So in this regard, Russia is ahead of us and being smarter than we are right now. Information sources. Well, everything I've said so far comes to me from extensive reading, primarily by medical doctors. And all of the following doctors have either best-selling books or are extensively available on YouTube videos. So here are the names: Zach Bush, MD, Stephen R. Gundry, MD, David R. Perlmutter, MD, Michael R. Eads and his wife Mary Dan Eads, MDs both, and finally Mark Hyman, MD. That concludes the presentation. Thank you for watching. I hope that you've been informed.